Welcome back, everybody, to more Final Fantasy V. I am Drak, and we are back in Galoof's home castle. Thank you, Mr. Dragon. That was really helpful of you. We all had to get off. I'll let the dragon rest. And by letting the dragon rest, you mean you're going to get back up on his back and direct him to an area that he can rest. It's not really letting him rest. There's some problems there. King Galoof. Or I'm sorry, King Galuf. Thank you for taking care of things while I was away, baby. Your Majesty. Okay, this needs explaining. An explanation we haven't gotten yet. What about X-Death? No activity since the barrier went up, sir. I see. And my troops? Almost entirely wiped out battling X-Death's monsters. I'm sorry. Yet there are plenty of soldiers in the castle. Thought you were just some old geezer. But a king? Yeah, well... What a surprise! That was supposed to be fourth wall. You've served me well. Now rest a while, baby. Yes, sire. Please stop calling us baby. Well, Barks, what is it? A king? I still can't get over it. What? You think I don't look like one? No, not really. What? I think they're gonna go to blows. Just kidding. I guess this means I gotta call you King Galuf now. Nope. Before you knew I was King of Val, you first knew me as a friend. Okay. From now on, when you address me, call me Galuf. Yeah. Haha, baby. So he's now said his kingdom's name. So he is the king of the kingdom of Val. And I'm guessing that we are in Val Castle. Yes, we are in Val Castle. We are not going down there just yet. There actually is kind of a secret dungeon down there, and we are not prepared for it at all. So while we are in Galuf's castle, we might as well, check out the merchants. That's what you do in a Final Fantasy game, right? So yeah, welcome back, everybody, to Final Fantasy V. Hopefully... since we are all caught up, everybody's been able to get caught, or been able to catch up with all the parts that have been going up the last couple of weeks. I'm happy that at least we are up to speed for the most part. I think I'm about a day late, but I'm gonna have to keep this loose just because of all the other stuff going on right now. Yeah, one of the main reasons that I actually couldn't upload yesterday was because I was actually out at a movie review with the panel of Geek News. We were out seeing part 2 of Attack on Titan, the live-action film. End of the world. And, yeah. That happened. Truth be told, I'm gonna give my opinion here because it might change on Saturday, but, it wasn't that bad. The second part wasn't. The problem is that the damage was done with the first part. And so I don't really think that's going to improve anything with that film. It's just one of those things where, as an anime, the idea of Attack on Titan works. As a live-action movie, it just looks silly. And truth be told, that's why it was enjoyable, is because it was silly. So, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, guys. The Attack on Titan fans are probably going to want to murder me, but the live-action film, there's a reason it bombed. And it bombed in Japan, it's bombing here. And it's funny because they kind of open things up for a sequel. And I don't think that's ever going to happen. So, good on you, man, for opening up something that you didn't need to even open up. But yeah, so we've done that, and then if you guys want to see our full-on review, it will be up on Saturday night. We're going to do it live with you guys on this week's episode of Geek News, since everybody's back, and everybody will be able to attend. So, if you guys want to see what we think, that will be the place to go. Alright, so we've hit a couple of the merchants here. I do want to look at the magic. There really isn't a whole lot of magic that I want to buy at the moment. Now, here's actually where I kind of flubbed, because I technically should have bought Return. That is this game's version of Exit. But it takes me a while to actually realize that, because I thought I'd already gotten it, and it was white magic, and it's not. It's time magic in this game, so there will be a couple of places where I will have to walk around manually, and to that I apologize to you guys, because that was my bad, completely, all the way through. But right now we're just looking around, trying to think if I want to actually do kind of a game update now, but I don't... Well, I think we may be able to figure out what we're doing next in a little bit. I know the next thread of plot. In fact, we just barely passed it, because if you'll notice, Krile is still up with the dragon. But first, we're going to hit the inn, because that's what you do. What? I don't know what I'm doing. It's been one of those days, guys. It definitely has. Another reason that things have not been uploading properly is me and my wife have actually had to deal with some last-minute bullcrap. Our city decided to close off a gravel lot that's right outside our house, which is where a lot of people were parking cars, and including ourselves. And now we can't utilize it because, yeah. So we've had to basically clean out a bunch of space in the house so that we can then, in turn, move one of our cars at least into the garage. And that's taken some time. Time that we didn't necessarily have in the week. But we made it work anyway. And here's Krile. Oh no, she's sad. Krile? The dragon's dying. What? How can it be? He flew while only pretending his wounds were healed. Yeah, how many people didn't see that one coming? Just to help us. How can we help him? Dragon grass. Would that cure him? Yes, but does this world have any? It only grows where dragons live. Then, got any ideas? The Valley of Dragons, but no one's ever come back from there alive. Of course they haven't. Yeah, that's my thought. No. Come on. Barts? The Valley of Dragons is north, just beyond Kelb, where a werewolf lives. But what about the monsters outside? We're all together, aren't we? Right. We'll be alright. Far. Sure as I live, we'll bring back that dragon grass. Alright, so now we have our new goal. We're going to go to the Valley of Dragons to go and get some dragon grass. So that we can get a viable form of transportation. We're going to get another dragon. But that means that we're going to have to do some questing. And there will also be a little bit of grinding, but, well, I don't do grinding on camera, so you guys don't need to worry about it. Open the gates. But sire, Exdeath's monsters will... Close the gate after us and seal her up tight. But sire, you won't be able to re-enter. Are you certain? Yes. We told you what to do. What makes you think we're not certain? Listen, you shut that gate and seal it up tight, you hear? Yes, your majesty. Be careful, majesty. Alright, so I guess we're locked out of Val until we come back. They move fast! Exdeath's monsters! Look alive, everyone! Let's move! They apparently were outside the door stalking our neighborhood. That's a little creepy. Oh, it's an abductor. Oh, how appropriate that we're meeting yet another abductor. So I guess now would be a good time, as good a time as any, to actually get into game updates. So thankfully I've been able to get back to something resembling a regular schedule. And one of which is that I actually marathon God of War Chains of Olympus. People will know this from the previous part, that I thought I was really close to the end. It turns out I was. And I finished out that game. I thought it was great. I thought it was very satisfactory for a Santa Monica Studios game, although it was Santa Monica and another studio. But overall, I'd recommend it to God of War fans. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody who's starting the series. I'd recommend you go to the first game to see if it's for you. But Chains of Olympus, even though technically it is a prequel to the first game, it is worth it. I thought it was a good kind of addition to the story that we knew about Kratos at that point. And I also love the you can't go home again vibe. I can't think of a better way other than that to explain it. Where Kratos actually gets to meet his dead daughter after a long time, and he gets an opportunity to be able to stay with her forever. And the Valley of Dragons should be just past the north gate of this village. All right, so there you go. Yes, it's locked from the inside. Nobody trusts us right now. So I did like that whole moment where he had to choose between his current life and his previous life. And it was not an easy choice, and you could tell. Freeze! Okay, I'll get into it in a second. Oh noes! It's werewolves! And we're cornered. You! Steady. But they're on our side. Our side? Galif. Kilga, baby. Been a while, hasn't it? He's one of the 4 Dawn Warriors. He fought Exdeath with you 30 years ago? Who are they? They came for the world we sealed Exdeath in. Exdeath's cronies, huh? What? Busted all the crystals and then brought Exdeath back. No, listen! Out of the way, Galif! That's no way to treat a king. Now, Bartz, or whatever your name is, it's showdown time. Kelga, let's see what you're made of. No, stay back. This is man to man, or man to dog. Dog to man? Oh, for a second there, I thought they were going to sell us with a card game. Let's see how you like my pine attack. And I don't see how this has anything to do with pine. Does it smell like pine? The fresh scent of pine in combat. See ya! Boom! Bartz, don't hurt him! baby? Wow, he actually went King of the Hill there for a second. Dang it, Bobby! Dang it, Bartz! You killed Kelga! Kelga, I apologize. Crazy old fool. Always overdoing it. Yeah, but he blocked my pine attack. That's really something. Learned it from my father. What? What was his name? Drogon. Why? What's with you two? You're kidding again, right? Drogon's son? Did you know my father? Very safe guess. Drogon, Kelga, myself, and Ziza all fought Exdeath 30 years ago. He was one of the 4 Dawn Warriors. So my father was from this world. Yes. 30 years ago, we warped into your world in hot pursuit of Exdeath. Wow, he makes it sound like an episode of Cops. That's just how it works, baby. He must be immortal. Boundless. We'll just have to seal him up here. Right. Here? We can't just seal up a criminal from our world here in this one. I, for one, am against it. Why? We have no choice. He's coming around. Quick, baby. Now we've got no choice. We must seal him up here. Drogon, we all must unite our hearts to use the power of the 4 crystals, baby. Not the heart of the cards? Drogon! So a reluctant Drogon felt bad and decided to just stay here. Make sure that he stayed sealed. Which he didn't. I think Drogon is off in another life kicking himself right now. And the day was saved. Not really. You sure you want to stay? Well, of course he does. He feels guilty. Yeah. Why? Farewell. Drogon! Baby! Dang it, Drogon! I think that's going to be the episode title here, is Galuf Hill. And so Drogon stayed behind in your world to protect the seal. I see. How is old Drogon? He died 3 years ago. He was sick. Oh, I'm sorry. Listen, I'll do anything you ask of me. I'll tell one of the villagers to open the north gate for you. I don't even know where Kelga's voice is going anymore. I was like going for a gruff kind of doggy sound one, like an animal, and I don't think it's doing that. I wish I could fight with you, but unfortunately we punched him so hard. Alright, so now that we've gotten this resolved, now we can actually go to the Valley of Dragons to begin our quest for the Dragon Grass. But back to what I was talking about. So I do like the choice that God of War actually gave, where Kratos had the option to either to stay with his daughter and reclaim an old life, but it also meant the destruction of the world to him, and the only way for him to fix that was basically to take on his old life, to be the ghost of Sparta. And the impact of that choice was really well done, because it actually gave us impact to that choice. We knew what Kratos was sacrificing to make it work. And so I think that helped with the story of Chains of Olympus a lot more. It also helped establish the villain and what she was trying to do in it. But again, you know, it's one of those things where I would recommend this to God of War fans, but not necessarily to like new people to the series. I would still recommend you go to the first game and see if it's for you, because this is additional content that you didn't necessarily have to have in order to understand it. So overall, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I haven't started up Ghost of Sparta just yet, but I think that's going to be one of the next ones on the list. The next game that I actually did try to take on was Lego City Undercover. So, like I said a part ago, is that I was not going to be doing the Spyro games anymore, and I was kind of interchanging them with Lego games, because I love the humor of Traveler's Tales games. And so I decided to play Lego City Undercover, which is a Wii U exclusive, and I had been recommended this a couple of times. I'd even seen Andre the Black Nerd's review of it a couple of times and loved what they were saying about it. There was a spoof of 80s cop movies and even 90s cop movies, and so I had to get my hands on it. And I just barely got started and solved my first case. So instead of like a usual Lego formula where it's like broken up into chapters, this one is just like you solve cases and you make your way to the big bad guy that you need to stop. But I could already see the stereotypes that they did for a lot of the characters. You had Clint Eastwood or Dirty Harry. You had Sherlock Holmes. You had Chuck Palumbo. And a couple of others. That Starsky and Hutch, I think, was in there too. And they're like your fellow detectives. So I have a feeling there's going to be lots of jokes to be made in those games. But I can already tell you I'm loving it. And I'm only a case in, and the first case that I did was just a bank robbery. So, but I thought it was a good kind of tutorial level to get you used to how this game is going to be different from every other Lego game you've played. So overall, I'm liking it. I'm loving the brand of humor for it. It's kind of its own thing. This is not spoofing on a movie series or anything like that. This is just, even though it's making fun of 80s, 90s cop movies, it does still have its own flair of humor. So I do recommend, or I'm enjoying it, and we'll see if I enjoy it near the end. Aside from that, let's see. I did also make a little bit of progress in Borderlands 2. I got a little bit of side questing done, since there's a stronger emphasis in it, in Borderlands 2 compared to the first game. And there actually is storylines to everything that's going on. But along with the side questing, I also met up with the elusive Firehawk that I was looking for, and it is Lilith, the siren from the first game. And I love this whole idea. This is one thing I knew about Borderlands 2 walking in, was that it did actually utilize the previous characters. And I love that idea. I love the fact that I got to meet with Roland earlier in the game, and now I've met with Lilith, and basically you're working hand in hand with them. That's a great idea to me, because, well, they still were good characters, but underdeveloped. I know they got comics, but when you take the game into context, they didn't really have anything. So it really kind of excites me on what they might do with characters like Brick and Mordecai, and, you know, we've also seen Scooter, so I have a feeling we'll see a couple of the other returning first game characters. Already I've seen Mad Moxie. I've seen Dr. Zed, but I don't think Dr. Ned is going to come back. He was a zombie after all. So yeah, I met with Lilith. I also rescued Roland, and that was a cool quest in and of itself. Really made you feel epic as a player. And then the side questing that I was able to take on was based around a cult that formed because of Lilith, because of the Firehawk. And man, that was a fun quest, because every time you take on a quest and you talk to the leader of this cult, then you would get Lilith in your ear basically saying, really? Well, I guess that's okay for them to do that. And then as soon as he actually starts advocating human sacrifice, she's like, nope, nope, I'm coming in. I'm stopping this crap. So my hat's off to the Borderlands 2 dialogue. Just because that's a really great way to endear yourself to the audience and actually make these characters have character, which up until this point they didn't. So I'm looking forward to going even further in Borderlands 2. And, you know, I already have a couple of characters that I'm looking way forward to meeting. But right now I'm satisfied. I like what they did with Lilith and with what they did with Roland. Especially when they actually created a relationship with him. That was funny. And just in case people were wondering what I was actually doing in this fight, so if you rescue Golem, he actually is a summon. And he's a defensive summon, so now I actually get him in my party, and that's going to be super helpful for later fights. But that's going to go ahead and do it for this week. So when we get back, we will continue on in the Valley of Dragons to claim some dragon grass.